Could you put the $1.7 billion into context? Are we talking strictly about the cuts that occurred during the first CASIC budget, or is there a cumulative effect in there?
Yeah, there's a cumulative effect. I've got a spreadsheet somewhere in, I guess, of course, the last page. Yeah, they added up. They were, like, in 2012, it was 99 million. In 13, it was 345 million. In 14, it was 347 million. 15, 329 million. And the appropriations for 16 and 17 are 310 and 295. And I think that adds up to just about 1.6. If you look at the annualized budget, the numbers differ whether you're looking at complete budget numbers or whether you're looking at annual numbers.
So even though the LGF in more recent years has been climbing, this is money that they would have received if the original cuts hadn't taken place?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, and some of that is also just it's a shared sales tax, as you're aware. So we went with 2008 as the hold constant year because that's when the Great Recession hit, and there were some natural decreases in the allocation because that's when the economy turned down and obviously there was less sales tax. So, if those cuts hadn't been made, we could have replenished, the 08, 9, and 10 numbers.
I guess what's the message that you're trying to send as the governor prepares to give his State of the State next week?
Well, I think the state of the state needs to be an honest accounting as to where the state is. And again, if he is being honest to me in that conversation regarding, bank balances being lower or higher in the city, I think you've got to acknowledge that these 31 communities exist. If he's being honest to the Inquirer, and if homes really are burning down, okay, well, they really are. So, I think we would just like him. He has a duty. Now, I was going to bring the transcript from the Pope's speech to Congress, because in that third paragraph of the transcript of that, the Pope extols the members of Congress to look out for those whose circumstances aren't as stellar as everyone else's. I think we've got a duty, and our governor is someone that will talk about, what will St. Peter say to you when you stand before the gates? Well, St. Peter is concerned about these 31 communities.
Are these 31, did they go on fiscal emergency watch and caution after 2011, or were any of them there before 2011?
I don't know if we've drilled down on that. My guess is some were on the list before, and some are probably new additions. So, yeah, that's a piece of data.
Wouldn't the timing matter? Because if some of them were having problems before the governor took office.
Yeah, well, what I would politely say is, we have a $2 billion rainy day fund. What do we use it for? If we can't use the rainy day fund for this is 1% of the rainy day fund. This is not a huge allocation of dollars. These are Ohio residents also. If we're talking about allocating 1% of the rainy day fund to help put out fires, how they got there is not as much of my concern since we now have this $2 billion.
If these communities receive these funds, would they be removed from fiscal watch, fiscal caution, and fiscal emergency?
I'm not sure of that either, because all of those 31 communities kind of arrived there differently. And that's, they got onto that list, and the auditor, shepherds that process. So my guess is we would have 31 different answers for you. What I'm fairly convinced is that the residents in those 31 communities could probably use the additional support.
So this is just a list of all the communities that are on fiscal emergency, fiscal watch, and fiscal caution right now? You just pulled the list?
Yeah, or at least, as we're developing the legislation. So
Okay.
yeah, I don't think there's been any changes.
Okay.
Why can't these communities, I'm just playing devil's advocate, Why can't these communities just raise their taxes like everyone else? I mean, you know, why can't they just, you know, go ahead and vote a tax increase and be done? Can you step to the mic? Moving back from the mic.
The mic is,
Sorry. Some of these communities have raised their taxes as I'm paging through to get to the list. I want to say Chillicothe has. And again, other communities have, Chillicothe has, and it was about the 1.5 million the additional revenue was going to. So I think what we've seen is the local government cuts hit every community hard, in part because it was a little bit of an unexpected cut. The communities in my district, they all figured out ways to raise revenue. And what East Cleveland tried to do is they tried to put in traffic cameras, but then the General Assembly took away. East Cleveland has really just blown out. Their tax base has really escaped. So again, that's what initially got me interested in this, is just looking at the communities in the 8th House District. And my experience of looking at those communities was every community tried to raise revenue.
Is there a total dollar figure for these?
Yeah, it's in the legislation, and maybe we don't. The total amount is 25 million. We'll let y'all write this down. $25,860,726. And that is what, if you add up all 31, that would be the amount that they would have gotten from fiscal year 08.
That's just those communities, right?
The 31.